Brent sent us an email and it says, "Hey, I've been enjoying the podcast so much." By the way, thanks for listening, Brent. Really appreciate it. If you're watching this, if somebody else watching this, and you are not subscribed to the podcast, definitely you can find Happen to Your Career on any podcast player that you listen to. I would encourage you to subscribe and follow. Brent goes on to say, one question I would have is, do you have any advice for when you're currently in a job you do not enjoy and you feel like you're losing yourself every day while waiting for targeted roles to pop up? I have a few roles I'm interested in, but I've been patient, hoping something will work out in my favor. But patience is waning. I've heard of bridge roles, but I also do not want to take on a new role when I know that something could pop up at any time. P.S. I would love to work with your team and purchase coaching, but unfortunately the costs listed on your website are just not feasible for me right now. So thank you for posting all the content that you do. Happy to be able to be in a position where we can contribute free content of all different types to help. That said, here's a couple of things to think about. Number one, don't wait. And what I am not saying is, I'm not saying go out and get whatever job happens to be available to you. Instead, when I say don't wait, I'm talking about you don't have to wait for a job to pop up. In fact, you don't have to wait for position openings at all. If there's organizations that you're interested in working for that are more likely to have the types of roles and positions, you can go and you can begin building relationships now. And in fact, I don't have any statistics around this, but observationally, what we see is that even though there are many postings at this point, there are so many applicants that creates extra work for recruiters, hiring managers, anybody who's involved in the hiring process. And that means usually what happens during that time, we've observed, is that more people are getting hired behind the scenes than what normally would. And the reason for that is because if I have somebody in front of me that I'm already familiar with that can do the job versus having to dig through the stack of 1,000 different applications and resumes. Yes, it's digital. Yes, it's maybe filtered by ATS, but it's a lot of work to do that. It's a ton of work to do that. Then I'm very likely going to go the direction where I'm hiring the person who's right in front of me that can do the job effectively, and I'm familiar with them. And so for right or wrong, we could argue that in a separate video. That is what tends to happen, because when there's lots of layoffs or a down economy, usually then we see that creates more work for other people, or people who are still employed or at organizations tend to have a higher workload. So they're getting more done with less. And those are the times where building relationships behind the scenes becomes a much better strategy in particular than entering through the front door, which to enter through the front door in the first place, you have to wait for a position to be able to be posted and pop up. Some of those positions, by the way, might already be hired for, or somebody might have somebody in mind by the time they pop up in the first place. That's a regular thing that happens. Again, not arguing whether that is right or just acknowledging that is a thing that happens. That said, I think it becomes important for you to stop waiting and start trying to build a situation and engineer a situation where you are the person who gets hired. So I would start with those organizations that have those roles that you're interested in, or are likely to have those roles that are interested in. Contact people there that can help you or hire you. And you've listened to the podcast, so you've probably seen that we actually have quite a few episodes about how to make contact with those people. And, I heard you say that it's not in the budget, but would definitely encourage you to reach out to our team, and we could probably get you some really targeted help so that you can stop waiting, even if it's not in the budget to be able to hire our team for the entire end-to-end process. We can do targeted help too. Okay, I hope that helps you. Thanks again for listening to the podcast.